Wow, I'm so excited to be here again on a beautiful Tuesday, talking with Krizia Aguilar of Sante Superfoods. And if you don't know me already, my name is Danielle Arsenault, founder of Pachavega Living Foods Education. And today we're going to talk about something near and dear to my heart. It's the day in the life of a plant-based baby. But one thing I need to say to everybody is that I'm not a doctor and I'm not a childhood nutrition expert. And I am an expert in nutrition, but for adults. And the thing is, in my deep dive, becoming a mother and learning about plant-based whole foods for children, I've noticed that the nutrition needs are different. And children need more protein and they need a lot more fats than adults. And so I'm here to share with you a day in the life of a vegan baby as a mother instead of as a nutrition expert. Who knows, maybe that's my next foray into plant-based nutrition, is to learn about plant-based nutrition for babies and toddlers. But the good news I can say is that there are so many amazing resources out there already, so many amazing books that I've read that have shined a lot of light on the world of how to cultivate and raise a healthy, thriving, plant-based, whole foods baby and toddler, where they're not missing anything and they're getting everything they need to grow strong and healthy. And you might be surprised, but it does actually involve supplementation. And I'll say this basic reason for that is because the soil that we consume our food from, the soil which grows our food these days, isn't the same as it used to be. So because the soil is lacking, unfortunately, the food is lacking. So supplementation becomes necessary in a modern world, not just for babies and toddlers, but for all of us from time to time when we need it. And that's why supplementation, whole food, of course, supplementation can be helpful once in a while. Yeah, so thanks for being here with me.
Hola, yo soy Krizia de Sante. Sí, como dijo Daniel, hoy vamos a hablar de la alimentación de una bebé vegana. Daniel nos preparó un video hermoso de lo que Indi, la bebé de Daniel, come en un día, o por lo menos lo que se ve en el video de lo que comió ese día. Entonces, I think we can start with watching the video, and then we'll talk about what she ate in that video.
Perfect. Yes. Tips. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And 1 second. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, one more time. Share the sound and optimize for video. Okay, perfect. So here it is. We'll start from the very beginning. If you want to, you can mute yourself, and then there we go.
Hi, my name is Danielle Arsenault, raw food chef and plant-based educator, and this is, what's your name?
Indi.
Indi, and this is the life of a vegan baby. We're going to give you a little snippet into the life of a vegan baby. And say, you want to say hi? Oh, is that your way to say hi today? I have to say though, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not an expert in childhood nutrition. And this is just one day in the life of her. So, we get much more variety than we are going to show you here on this video in one day. But this is her number one food. Yum yums. So I'm still nursing. So that's definitely the preferred food of choice. But what else does a vegan baby eat in a day? Mango dance, mango dance. Mango, mango, mango dance. Are you gonna dance? Do, 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 do. Whoa. How's the mango? Focused. How's your cookie? Is it yum yum? Good cookie? Can we see your cookie? Let's see. Let's see the cookie. What's in it? I made these amazing superfood cookies for Indi to fill in any nutrition gaps throughout the day. These superfood cookies have a base of 1 cup of pumpkin seeds, 1 cup of quinoa, 4 Brazil nuts for micronutrients, 1 tablespoon of beetroot powder, half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of moringa powder, just a squeeze of lime juice to give it that vitamin C boost to also help you absorb iron better, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and 2 tablespoons of hemp hearts, and a tablespoon of cacao syrup. So you could substitute molasses. It is a high iron syrup, and again, another really important reason to add that lime juice. And the last thing is 1 cup of pitted medjool dates. Are you finding your own food? Foraging in the forest? What do you got there? Is that a bean? Manica, green beans. We've got a whole big wall of them. Are you ready for oatmeal? Yum yums, you really want some, don't you? So this is oatmeal. It's a breakfast, not everyday breakfast, but today it's breakfast. It has oatmeal, it has flax seeds, it has chopped up berries. Yum! Yum! Most of the food that we eat is organic as much as possible. Ideally 100%, that would be great. But of course we're in a modern world where maybe organic food isn't everywhere. So try your best. You want it yourself? Go for it. Yum. And there's also tahini. So tahini is super, super high in calcium. I just add tahini straight to the oatmeal instead of like making sesame milk or something like that to add. I just put the tahini straight in. Some of the things that if she doesn't like to eat it, we just sneak it into a smoothie. There's a really thick smoothie. This actually has avocado, and she doesn't like avocado. Oh, there goes a sweet potato. Hey, what's up? Oh dear. And sometimes also, like, if she's like, I don't want it, I'll try to get, like, just a little bit on her lip so then she can taste it and then she can actually decide, oh yeah, I want that flavor or I don't want that flavor. Oh, this is beautiful organic sweet potato from our garden. Yum yum. That's another thing. You can put, like, sweet potato in your smoothie for your baby. So all those things that you want to feed her that she might not want to eat, disguise in the smoothie. Yeah? Fresh. Look at that. Eating avocado. Didn't even know it.
Mama. Mommy.
Pitaya.
Papaya.
Pitaya. There's also a thing called papaya.
Papaya.
Hi there. So,
Mama.
yep, there's also raw onion. Raw onion. So again, you know, try all kinds of things. You never know. Raw onion has quercetin. It has so many antioxidants. If she likes it, why not? She doesn't like it. No, but hey, she's eating the whole thing. Do you like the onion? And tomatillo. If we were making a salsa right now, the tomatillo and the onion would go very well together. And of course, super important, agüita. Agua. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Indi, ¿qué tienes ahí? Yum yum. And it's a good idea to, you can mash up the beans sometimes, and because yeah, she doesn't chew very well, so she kind of swallows them whole. And I know this because we check your poop, right? What's in your food? Otto, el perro. Otto is our dog. And here we have quinoa, beans, rice. And in this you'll have a complete protein. Beans plus quinoa has all the essential amino acids. There's like a mix between, letting her feed herself, spoon feeding her whole foods, feeding her mushed foods. Right? We change it up. Sometimes quinoa, sometimes rice, sometimes beans, sometimes chickpeas, sometimes lentils, sometimes sprouts. But of course we're going to have some pineapple, some watermelon later. And also if you have picky kids, you can, instead of mixing everything together, you can separate things and just put it on the plate and let them decide. It's really important to offer food all the time and offer a lot of different foods, and they can choose how much they eat and what they eat. And if they scoff at one thing, try it again. Don't just say, oh, she doesn't like avocado, then never feed her avocado again. Try it again, try it again. Try mixing with something. She didn't like avocado, and we started blending it with banana, which she loves. Right? You love banana?
Yeah.
Onion? Onion. Love you. Cebolla. I love you. All done? The very last thing is a nice medley of deliciousness. Avocado, vitamin E, omega-3 fatty acids, some tofu, a little bit of sauerkraut, yum yum, and some steamed yucca leaf, some spinach, and some delicious pumpkin. Sit down, darling. There you go. It's getting dark out for dinner. So yeah, she might not eat it all, but at least we're giving her the variety and the options. And then whatever she doesn't eat, we try again. That's tomato. No? Tomato? Yum yum. And after all that eating, you gotta brush your teeth. What's your name?
Indi.
What's your name?
Indi.
Indi. Where's your tongue? Oh, there it is. What does a cow say?
Moo.
What does a monkey say?
Oh.
What does a horse say? Horse.
Oh.
Yay! There it is. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah. Now, how old is Indi?
She's 16 months now.
16 months now. Nice.
Yeah. It's been an amazing journey to be a mom, for sure. Something that I always wanted to be. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to say I really enjoyed watching her eat. She really enjoys it. She's so very excited every time it's time to eat. And it's really cool to see that she's eating all this variety of foods, and she's really enjoying them. So the first thing I learned from the video maybe is that sometimes, well, I'm not a mother, so it's not like a place for me to say how it works, but I see sometimes people very afraid of what they're gonna give to their kids. And I love the part where you say, like, just try, just give them a variety of options and then they'll choose. I love that part.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, I've read that they need to be exposed to a certain food almost like 7 or 8 times to actually realize if they like it or not. So if they don't like something the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, keep offering it, because that food has benefits, has health benefits, and we don't want to limit their diet because of their limited experience in consuming that food. For us, we can't really conceive that because we've tried these foods thousands of times and we know our tastes. Like, you know, if I try something and I know I don't like it or not, then I can also know that I can get maybe that nutrition from somewhere else. But for a baby, this is their first time trying these foods. And, you know, sometimes like sour foods, like she loved sour foods from infancy, whereas some children will, you know, push that away right away. So yeah, just keep trying. And, you know, there are experts in childhood nutrition that can give you a list, can also give you a schedule, you know, like they recommend that avocado, coconut, pureed coconut, sweet potato, these types of things can be some of the first foods introduced into a child's diet. But again, it depends on who you're talking about, because I've also read a very comprehensive book about giving raw food to children and raising a raw food vegan baby. And so there's a lot of science and in the nutrition behind that too, that I believe in. So really it's about educating yourself and finding out what works for you and your family, but to continually offer a variety, continually offer the rainbow, and make sure that you're getting nutrient density. And it's focused on more proteins. So that could be nut butters, watered down or added to soups or things, purees. That could be beans cooked. It could be sprouts blended into a smoothie, chia seeds, spirulina. So these are some of the superfoods that can enhance the protein content. And then with iron, you know, if you're eating iron-rich foods like soy, spinach, things like this, you also need to include vitamin C, because the vitamin C will enhance the body's bioavailability, the body's ability to absorb that iron. Now, the difference between heme iron and non-heme iron, so heme iron comes from animals and non-heme iron comes from plants. And it's actually true that it's harder for our bodies to absorb plant-based iron. So there is a chance that, you know, and people have said, oh, well, a plant-based diet can be lacking in iron. Well, it is if you're not planning properly, right? If you don't think about it. But if you're thinking about it and you're including iron-rich foods every day, and if you're including the vitamin C to enhance, chances are you're going to get a good amount. If you're still worried, you can supplement. Okay, and then there are whole food supplements. So we talk about that the cookie recipe.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that.
Yeah. So the cookie recipe in the video is pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are high in iron. Okay, they're also high in other minerals, high in calcium, in chlorophyll. Quinoa is high in iron. It's also high in protein. It's considered a super seed. Brazil nuts, just a few. And now this is my baby over 1 year old. I probably wouldn't give her this until she's 1 or a little bit older. Beetroot powder. So or you could use real beetroot. It helps the blood. It builds blood, and it also is rich in iron. Moringa powder, or you could use moringa leaf if you're in the tropics. This is a superfood in itself, and it's a super leaf. Lime juice. So there's that vitamin C that's going to help you absorb the iron better. Chia seeds and hemp hearts, both rich in omega-3 fatty acids. This is essential for the baby's developing brain, eyes, and other organs of the body. We need to consciously think about including more omega-3s in your child's diet. Then we have cacao syrup, and that is a syrup that I use that grows here in the tropics, but you could supplement or switch that out for molasses, which is a mineral-rich sugar byproduct. So looking for organic molasses. And then dates, and the dates help bind it all together, but they also provide a lot of nutrition. They're high in iron as well. They have a lot of fiber, which is good for digestion. So yeah, and then these cookies, I mean, I call them cookies, but they're not that sweet. They are a little bit sweet, but they're super loaded with nutrition. So she just eats like 1 small piece or 2 small pieces a day, and it can help fill in some of the nutritional gaps. So it's, for me, it's like a whole food supplement. Yeah.
And then you just blend all this together and dehydrate it, or?
Yep. So put it all in the food processor and process it until it's a mush. And the quinoa is, you could have sprouted quinoa or you could do cooked quinoa. It's up to you. And then once you have a mush, then you can put it, spread it on the Teflex sheet and then put it in the dehydrator, dry it for about 5 hours, flip it, peel off the sheet, and dehydrate it again until all the moisture is removed. And then they don't need to be refrigerated. They're room temperature, shelf stable. But I would recommend, you know, within a week, trying to consume them. And I eat them too. They're delicious.
Of
So
course.
like, if I want a snack, I just like eat them. Like, oh, I'm eating all of these snacks. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. So also we were talking, like, I had the idea that you should avoid maca, for example, for a baby. And we were talking and you just explained me that there's like a range where you can use maca after a year and why to use it. And so maybe we can talk a bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, you would like, the superfoods are super, but they've also been used traditionally for centuries. So maca, growing in the Peruvian, the Andes of Peru and Ecuador, the people there have been using maca in their lives for centuries, along with quinoa. Quinoa is another superfood that comes from the Andes, or at least in South America. And the Quechua people have been using maca for babies forever. And it's historical. Of course, you're going to be cautious and conscious of the amount, right? You're not going to give so much, but maca helps so many systems in the body. It's been proven to help physical and mental growth. And the Peruvians, the Quechua people have been using it for centuries for their children, for themselves. It helps energy, so it can improve energy levels. It's robust. It gives physical strength in many ways. It can help balance our bodies. It's really, really an incredible addition to a whole foods plant-based lifestyle for children, but small amounts, right? This is really like an important piece, is that you don't want to overdo it. And that's what I say as well when I'm coaching all my clients and my students, is that just because something's good for you, it doesn't mean a lot of it is going to be good for you. Right? We've all heard that phrase, too much of a good thing. So including a tiny little bits of maca in the oatmeal, for example, right? And then for those people who are wanting to feed their children more raw than cooked, overnight oats also works, which is soaking in, maybe coconut milk overnight, with all those additions of the chia seeds, the hemp hearts, the flax seeds, spirulina. So these things are all wonderful for a child to eat. And we can't forget, of course, fresh fruits, veggies throughout the day. And always just offer them new things Keep going with the things that they like. If they don't like a new thing, mix it with the thing they like. So you can kind of hide it in there. And that's what I discovered with bananas. She loves bananas. So banana with avocado. Didn't like avocado, won't eat the avocado. But if I blend the banana and avocado, she's eating it. So there she's getting the nutrients that are in the avocado.
Mm-hmm. I also find very important and very, like, you know, a lot of things, and you know how to mix things, you know how they'll taste together, you know how to prepare them. So it's very important that moms or parents as adults educate themselves of the food that they could give to their babies, and also for themselves, because that's how you do it, because you know what to do, what to cook something with. So the part of the education that you can get as an adult of the way you're eating, you can pass it to your kid and make wonders out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, educate is the most precious gift that you could ever give your children, is to teach them how to cook healthy for life. And so, you know, I feel lucky that I'm able to do this as a living and put my energy and effort into learning about food, so then I can pass this knowledge down to Indi, you know. And I'm even discovering here, as I live in Nicaragua, there are so many medicinal plants and foods here that I'm not even familiar with. So it's like I come here and I almost feel like a newbie again. I almost feel like I'm starting from scratch to learn what's good here, like the carao syrup as an example. Jicaro seeds, this is another example. And they are the inner seed of the jicaro, which isn't usually consumed for its fruit, but it's used for its shell as bowls. So they cut them in half, they use them as bowls, and then they use the seeds. And I made some jicaro milk yesterday, and it tasted like pumpkin seed milk. So here is this equivalent, you know, to pumpkin seeds in the tropics, and it's high in iron, it's high in protein, it's high in many other different nutrients and vitamins. And so maybe I can't get pumpkin seeds here, or I can use the pumpkin seeds that I have in my garden, but jicaro is much more plentiful and abundant. So learning how to substitute what I'm used to with what I have now. So again, it is all about education. I'm still learning. You know, I have
You're finding new things because you know what you're looking for. So you need to know what you're looking for and able to find a substitute for something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, another thing I wanted to share was another really amazing trick for babies, just to get a lot of extra nutrition, is to add sprouts to their food. Now, it might be hard for them to like eat the sprouts and chew them, and because they're kind of stringy. So I recommend blending them in a smoothie or in a juice. These sprouts are absolutely loaded with nutrition and can really do wonders for a child's health.
And by sprouts, you mean like everything, lentils, chickpeas, nuts?
Yeah. Broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, radish sprouts, all those kinds of things. And you would think, ooh, radish sprouts in like a banana smoothie, but a little bit goes a long way, and you can't taste it. Remember, you don't have to like taste it, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming to be beneficial to the body. Like even like 5 little sprouts is still going to add nutrition versus none, right? So it can be about starting slow and a little and adding these things. I knew someone whose children really loved potatoes and French fries, and they would just eat French fried potatoes. Yes. And, you know, I recommended, and they're like, well, they just won't eat anything else. Like, at this point, it had gone a little too far.
Extreme.
And so, And so what do you do? Well, I recommended you can add like whole food powder on top of the French fries. So, okay, they're not going to, they maybe won't eat anything else, but at least now you're enhancing their French fry experience. organic carrot powder, organic kale powder, or spinach powder on top of these French fries, and you're enhancing their nutrition. Also offering all the other things on the plate. Maybe they'll look at that plate, they'll see the potatoes, and they'll only eat the potatoes, but that's okay. As long as you're offering them, eventually they'll become curious. They might put it in their mouth and they might be pleasantly surprised. Wow, I do like this thing. Also, children go through stages and phases. Okay, they'll go through phases of loving something and then not liking it again, or not liking something immensely and then starting to like it. So it just keep adding and keep sharing and keep trying. And if they say, I don't want that, I don't like that, say, okay, here it is anyways, it's on the plate. You know, if they don't want it on the plate, well, they might, throw it on the ground or something, but that's okay too. So another one of my tips is I use little tiny, this is actually one of Indi's, like a tiny, tiny, tiny container to start with. And I put the food in there, because if she just dumps it out, then it's not a big waste. So here's her small amount. She'll eat as much as she wants. If she wants more, I've taught her to actually say more, which is a sign, and she'll just go like this, which means more. So I'll give her more. So that's how we get around sort of the waste. But yeah, inevitably a bunch of food ends up on the ground. For sure.
Well, because that's also important. I saw her eating very freely and actually like playing with the food and understanding the texture. And with the pitaya, for example, she was like smashing it. But then she knows how pitaya is. Then she knows how she can taste if she tastes it. So
yeah,
that
absolutely.
free part and like the playful part, I also think it's very important, because if not, it's going to be like a stressful time. Like if it's time to eat, then mom is going to get mad because I don't eat this, or because no,
exactly. No, we're from birth. Well, from the moment that they're able to eat, which is around 6 months of age, it's recommended you don't feed your child any food before 6 months of age, because their systems are still developing, and really their bodies aren't set up to digest whole foods yet. So pretty much across the board, everywhere you read in pediatric books, they'll recommend after 6 months of age. And then at that point, you want to try just like singular foods, so they understand what food tastes like before you start mixing foods. At this point, she's 16 months. We mix lots of things. Like she'll even try a curry, which might be spicy. The one thing I do want to recommend as well is less salt. Salt is important, but the kind of salt. So looking for sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, not iodized table salt. That's really important. Children don't need as much salt as adults do, or at least, their little bodies are affected more by it. So less salt, more fat, more protein. Yeah, it's really important to establish a healthy relationship with food from birth, or from the time that you're about to eat. Food is a positive experience. Eating food is a happy experience. If they don't want to eat it, it's okay. Babies are actually innately intelligent. They know when they want to eat and when they don't. They know when they're hungry and when they're not. They know if they have a cold, they might eat less, because that's their innate intelligence, letting them know that the energy needs to go towards healing the body, not towards digestion. They don't know that intellectually, but inevitably they'll do it for themselves. But as parents, it's our job to continually offer the food, right? Instead of box them into like, oh, she doesn't like this, or she only eats like this, or she, that's just maybe yesterday she ate like that, maybe for a week. So it seems like it's developing a habit, but really there's just, like you said, playing with food. They're figuring it all out, right? Textures, tastes, sour, sweet, bitter, all these kinds of things. Like the onion, like and garlic and turmeric. She eats the stuff raw, just like raw onion, raw garlic, raw turmeric. And then she'll come back and I'm like, oh, you're eating turmeric. Her teeth are all yellow. Like, okay, we need to brush your teeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
when we were preparing this, I was asking you about like, what do you do, or what would you do if you're exposed to, for example, a birthday party or the outside world?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's always a big question that I think parents, not only plant-based, but parents who do things differently, how to go about navigating this world that isn't really supporting you in general. Now, I'm really blessed here on the island of Ometepe. Many of my friends are plant-based and many of their children are plant-based. So within our community, it's a very supportive community, which is great. But yeah, going home, you know, my nephews, my Indi's cousins, you know, they're not plant-based, they eat cheese, things like this. So yes, how do you navigate that experience? Well, the first of all, if you, as a parent, you can't freak out. Okay, so say my nephew gives Indi some cheese, you know, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, no, because then there's some trauma there. Plus there's like an energy there that's like, oh, what's this thing that's so, there's so much energy put towards this thing. So what I would do is I would maybe take it away, swap it out with something else, have a discussion with the other child, you know, try to not make a big deal out of it, explain, but then, you know, it's like, yeah, it's tough. It's really, really a tough thing to navigate. But as far as like parties go, what I would do if I'm sending Indi to a traditional party, birthday party, I would actually make a whole cake for everybody there. So when she arrives, she has a cake. It's a gift for the child whose birthday it is. Plus they can share it. Everyone can eat it, and so can Indi. So there's that experience, that she's still able to like experience it all, and not be restricted in, you know, that thing. Will there come a day where I have to navigate it even more, where, you know, she wants to try that thing? Absolutely, you know. So I think if it comes down to education, you know, why do we eat this way? Or we eat this way because of this, to explain to her about animals, how they're our friends and not our food, not to scare her in any way. I don't want her to be afraid, but in some way, how to teach her the truth, which is scary, actually, if you know about like factory farming and the whole, you know, insides and outs of that. That is actually quite scary because it's very violent, and you don't want to say, look, this is why we don't know. We don't want to scare them. But how do you propose this information in a way that is factual? Yeah, she's going to eventually have to come to a point where she makes that decision for herself. You know, am I going to try that thing that I know that mommy doesn't want me to eat? Depends on who she is. Is she a rebel or is she a rule follower, right? If she's a rebel girl, well, she's probably going to try that thing because mom says don't. Yeah, and then I don't know, conversation. I think conversation about what it is, explaining, and in the end, not getting upset.
Yeah, not restricting, yet explaining.
Yeah. Just, you know, this is what we offer. This is what we eat at our home. This is what, you know, we eat. If she expresses that she wants to eat an egg, or, you know, or whatever, okay, well, this is how this has to come to you. Do you still want to eat it? Yes, I do. Well, okay. And then maybe having her eat it and then having her reflect upon how she feels after. How do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel sick? You know, maybe she feels good. Then what do I do? I don't know. Navigate again. Yeah.
Still don't know.
Yeah. I just think, education, support, positivity.
Explaining why you don't do it, why you decided not to do it eventually. So she'll have all the information.
Yeah. And then difference, like explaining that different, you know, just in general, like differences in the world, like there are differences everywhere you go. People are different, plants are different, things are different, and the world needs the difference. You know, we are like this and that's okay, and they are like this and that's okay too. We don't have to be the same, we don't have to eat the same. But again, that's another difficult thing because children want to fit in. right? I mean, I remember myself, like, I don't want to be the weirdo. I want to be the one that fits in with everybody. So same with her, right? So how do we allow her to be different yet fit in at the same time? That's
staying in Ometepe.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, staying here. Yeah, basically surrounding yourself with a community that supports you and does the same thing as you. That's huge. So yeah, for all the women out there, or the fathers out there, parents out there, who want to live a plant-based lifestyle and want their children to, how do you continue to do so in a community that doesn't support that? You have to find a community that supports that, and maybe for now, in the state of the world, it's an online community, which is all right as well.
So you were telling me that you were gonna probably mention a book.
So I haven't written a book on childhood nutrition yet. Again, I'm just starting this journey. In my professional career, I'm not shifting away from adult nutrition, but in my personal life, I have a child. So I have to educate myself on how to, raise and cultivate my baby into a strong, healthy girl on a plant-based diet. And that requires some changes and thinking more about it than I do if I was to just be myself eating the food. Okay, so some of the books that I've read that have really inspired my journey as a plant-based mom and giving my daughter the nutrition that she needs. Well, the first one I want to recommend is because it was written by Brenda Davis, who is a registered dietitian and Canadian award-winning author, and she has been influential in my personal journey in becoming vegan and plant-based. And she's also an expert in my TV show, Heal and Ignite Across Canada. So she's written a book with another woman called Rishma Sa, and her book is called Nourish, the Definitive Plant-Based Nutrition Guide for Families, with tips and recipes for bringing health, joy, and connection to your dinner. And so this includes recipes for the whole family, including your children. I really also love a new book that just came out. It's excellent, and it's really based in science and up-to-date nutrition science. And it also recommends certain supplements that are whole food plant-based supplements. And this is called The Plant-Based Baby and Toddler, Your Complete Feeding Guide for 6 months to 3 years. And that's by Alexandra Caspero and Whitney English. And then 2 other books I really love: The Big Book of Plant-Based Baby Food, which is 300 healthy plant-based recipes perfect for your baby and toddler. And the other one is The Vegucated Family Table, Irresistible Vegan Recipes and Proven Tips for Feeding Plant-Powered Babies, Toddlers, and Kids, by Marissa Miller-Wolfson and Laura DeLauer. So those are some of the incredible books that have really inspired my journey towards becoming more conscious towards the nutrition that my baby needs. And the best news about it is it says almost the same thing that I promote in my own teachings through my school to my students, but it's adjusted for children, and it's adjusted and tried and tested on other children. So, even in my course online, I have a module it's such a short module for how comprehensive that it could be. It's basically fertility, pregnancy, whole foods for kids, and the golden age. And so it's basically all stages of life and the different nutrition that's needed during these different stages of life. And it excludes adulthood because that's what the rest of the course is all about. But yeah, being conscious of what you're feeding your child day in and day out, and thinking about nutrient density, including superfoods like the ones that we've talked about: chia seeds, hemp hearts, quinoa, moringa, spirulina. These things are all going to add so much vitality and set your child up for a lifetime of healthy eating habits.
Great. Well, I think the last part of the video, or the last thing that we want to talk about, is that You have to wash your teeth.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. You know, brushing your teeth. I mean, this is a reminder for everybody. But as a chef, actually, chefs in general tend to have really bad teeth. And why? It's because they're always putting food in their mouth, right? They're always tasting. And I notice like a huge difference from the days that I'm in the kitchen making food and like tasting all day, and the days that I'm not, my teeth, like it's a very big difference. So when you're always putting food in your mouth, your body, well, first of all, it can get stuck to your teeth, but your body's always trying to digest, and it's getting those enzymes activated, the amylase that's in your saliva. Anyways, the more you're eating during the day, the more you should be brushing your teeth. And that is so essential for children, not only because, again, you're trying to establish healthy habits for life from an early age. I still can't believe Chris said this, her father, but he said, I don't even know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. He's like, whatever, they're going to fall out anyways. Like, yeah, they'll fall out when she's 8 or 7. You want her to have rotten teeth for the next 8 years? No. You know, you want her to try to develop a habit at 8 years old when she's never done it before? No. So you've got to get them starting early. Indi doesn't like getting her teeth brushed. So, you know, we try to play, we try to make it a game. I give her the toothbrush first. I brush and I sing the Raffi song, you brush your teeth, you know, and I'm doing it. Then she tries to do it. She mimics me. And then, you know, maybe I get down and I tickle her, and then I get in there really quickly. And then she's like, nah, get out of the way. And then I tickle her again and I get in there. And then I stop and I put the toothbrush away. And then I tickle her and I play with her for a bit. So she's happy, she's smiling. And then I try again. I mean, you'll have to try. And maybe some moms and dads out there totally know what I mean. But you still have to do it, right? You can't just say, oh, they don't like their teeth being brushed, so I'm not going to brush them. No, I mean, like I said, you want to set them up with habits for life. So as long as you're not traumatizing them every time you try to brush their teeth, try to make it fun and try to do your best. You don't have to, you know, get every single tooth perfect every single time, but you're trying to do your best and you're trying to set them up with the habit, right? With the routine that every day we brush our teeth. We brush our teeth when we wake up. We brush our teeth when we go to bed. That's what we do. It's part of the day. Maybe you don't like it. Well, let's just try our best, you know, let's make it fun. Let's make it a game. Some days it's better than others. When it's better, we celebrate. Like, you did it. Yeah, you brushed your teeth. I'm so excited. I actually do get quite excited. Yeah, but yeah, really important to keep brushing their teeth. And also as their teeth grow, like just noticing, are there spaces, gaps, or are they tight together? And if they're tight, try to floss. So again, something that's hard, that's not so easy, but I take a small piece like this. Her bottom teeth, they're really tight here. So I take a small piece and I try to get in there. And as long as I can like get it in and pull it through, like I feel satisfied. So yeah, it's every child is different. Every parent is different, but trying to set those healthy habits for life from an early age will ensure that they stay healthy.
I don't have any more questions, but I think we've talked about everything that we wanted to. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, it's like the more I talk about this, the more I realize like I also need to do more education, and I also need to learn more because it is quite different. The nutrition needs of a child and the nutrition needs of an adult. But one thing also is, you know, if you're a mom or a father and you're trying to, you know, get a lot of healthy foods into your child, excuse me, don't stress about it, right? And just again, like if you're worried or you're not sure, you know, there's always whole food supplements, but look at the labels, you know, look at the company. What do they stand for? What's the backstory of this supplement? You know, what ingredients are used? If it's a gummy, is it gelatin? That's, you know, coming from the animal industry, and then that whole, you know, industry. So can you find a plant-based gummy? Does it need to be a gummy? Maybe it's a liquid. But again, looking at the backstory and trying to get the biggest variety you can, a mix of pureed and whole so they can practice chewing. And also like I said in the video, the beans, like if I give her whole beans, she'll swallow them whole. Yeah. So maybe there's a tiny bit of benefit to that, but can I smash them a little bit? Can I puree them sometimes? Just keep trying the variety. Not too flavorful because you don't want them to be overwhelmed with the sensation. Plain is better. So I'll often, if I do like a khichdi or like a lentil stew or something like that, I'll make that. I'll take some aside, and then I'll add all the other flavorings and things for ourselves, for me. Just try your best. Every parent loves their child, and we are doing our best with the knowledge that we have always to be relaxed about it, to continually educate yourself, and to just enjoy those precious moments with your child as they grow, because every mother and father who has an older child knows, and they've all told me, that it goes by so fast. So enjoy that time.
This also takes us to the next topic about the next talk next week, that is education, and how important it is for us as grown-ups to be educated about what the importance of what we're eating and the quality of what we're eating, and then how we can eat it. We can know what to mix with, or what to prepare with, what to supplement with our everyday life, with what supplements. And well, that is what we're going to be talking next week about, and about Danielle's school. So if you want to learn a little bit about this, then join us next week.
Yeah, that's my specialty. Definitely. Yeah. Being a chef in the kitchen, and the education and the nutrition behind the food that you're eating. So as an adult, that's my specialty for sure. I would love you to be here, and we'll have these. We'll post on Sante Superfoods, and we'll also post on Pachavega and share all this with you. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.